So here is my mobile repeater station, and what we're trying to do is get these two radios here to talk to each other using the repeater. And the idea is that if there is a mountain or the area isn't flat, you're going to have difficulty of these two talking to each other. So if we put a small repeater up in a elevated position, then you should be able to get the radios to talk to each other over all the obstacles. This is a mobile repeater, very cheap one. It just consists of two radios, and you have a receiver and a transmitter, and they're just hooked together. Here you've got your line out, which is probably your speaker going into your mic. So that's all it does. Since I'll be using the amateur band, which is in the UHF frequency, we need to make an offset of 5 megahertz. So the first thing we're going to do is, this is quite simple, we just set this to receive on the specific frequency and this one to transmit on 5 megahertz above or below. But the main thing is now to actually set up one of these radios that are actually going to talk through the repeater. So let's start there. Okay, at the moment, it's when you switch on your radio, there's two modes. There's channel mode and there is frequency mode. On channel mode, that's normally when you've already programmed something in. So let's switch it off and go to frequency mode, where we can program.
Frequency mode.
Okay. Currently on my frequency mode, alright, 472. Okay, that's within the amateur band. So what we're going to do is we're just going to delete. Go to menu. Okay, as you can see, there's no offset on this. What I am going to do is go to delete channels. So you have channel 0 and then you have channel 1. Those are the two channels I'm going to use, and I'll show you why I'm going to use both.
Delete channel.
Yeah.
Confirm.
Okay, channel 1, 0 deleted.
Delete channel.
And channel 1 deleted.
Confirm.
Alright, okay. Now that those are deleted, what we're going to do is select our large frequency, our high frequency. That's the frequency that the repeater is going to be putting out. And that's going to be
7.
not so high.
477 0
7
7
2.
2.
Okay, go back to menu. Going to input that on 0.
Memory channel. Receiving memory.
Awesome. We're also going to do one more.
Memory channel.
We're going to also input that onto channel 1 as well.
Receiving memory.
Okay. Go out of that. Then we're going to put in our low frequency. This is the frequency that we are going to transmit with on our handheld to the repeater station. So
4 7 2 0 7 2.
And now that frequency is 5 megahertz below the one that I just added.
Menu.
And
memory channel.
We're going to input that on the 0.
Transmitting memory.
It says transmitting, not receiving. So then you know that you have two frequencies on one channel. Okay, you can turn it off. Turn it back on.
Channel mode.
Alright, now with the channel mode, we're on 0. And you can see it's got a plus minus, which means that there are two channels, frequencies on 0 channel. And if I push to talk, okay, so I can now receive on 477, transmit on 472. Right, the lower channel, I'm actually going to now bump that up to 1. So when I push on 1, it's only going to transmit and listen on that. So this would allow me to talk between two radios.
Channel mode.
In some cases, that may be necessary. There we go. And vice versa. Cool. Alright, so let's set up our repeater. Okay, so currently our receiver part is listening on the correct frequency, 472072. Our transmitter is not on the correct frequency, so we just need to change that very quickly. Yeah, and we can change that. We don't have to be in channel mode or anything. This one's quite nice. It jumps between channel mode and frequency mode quite easily. You just input the frequency.
477072.
Okay, it should be good to go. I've set this to medium output. This is a GT3TP, which means it's got 3 levels of output: low, medium, and high. High is probably around about 5 watts, so it's still within legal limits of an amateur repeater. Yeah, we'll keep it on. You can even keep it on low. The main thing is to get line of sight with something like this. Okay, so here we've got our 2 radios. Let's just put it this way. Okay, so we've got our 2 radios, and if we do, you also see that if we do transmitting between these 2 radios, the handhelds, that this also lights up because it is picking up on the same frequency. But if we jump to now the high frequency, you see both of these come on. Testing 1 2, testing 1 2. Okay, so now what's happening is these 2 are transmitting to this one, receiver, and then going to this one, the emitter. And since they're now the frequency split is now 5 megahertz, there shouldn't be any interference, and they should be able to transmit without problems. Cool.